Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video we are going to discuss the categorical imperative as given by Immanuel Kant. And in last video we discussed the utilitarian moral philosophy given by John Stuart Mill. And in last video itself I told you that it is now time to move on to another school of philosophy or another school of morality or moral reasoning for that matter, and that is categorical moral reasoning. And the word categorical itself means unconditional. Unlike utilitarian moral philosophy, which located the morality of any action into the utility of the action, this categorical moral reasoning is unconditional in nature. So it does not recognize any action as moral or immoral just based on its utility. But there are certain other things, certain other standard parameters that Immanuel Kant has given to judge whether or not the action is moral or not. So without further ado, let's get started with our Kant's categorical imperative. So before understanding categorical imperative, we first have to understand what are the hypothetical imperative that Kant talked about. So hypothetical imperatives are our day-to-day ifs and buts questions. So if you want good grades in exam, you have to study. So you study to get good grades in exam. So there is no question of morality involved in this, but the question of morality is involved in how you get good grades in the exam. And this is how Kant separated our day-to-day life from moral realm and amoral realm. So hypothetical imperatives are, according to Immanuel Kant, exist in a moral realm where the question of morality doesn't even exist. But when it comes about moral action and to judge if an action is moral or immoral, Immanuel Kant has given the categorical imperatives, and he argues that if your action is in consonance with these principles, then you can safely say that your action is moral. Let us start with the first categorical imperative that he has given, and the first imperative that he has given is the maximum of universality. According to this, if you want to judge any action as whether or not it is moral or not, you have to think in terms of universalizing that action. So if you are stealing someone's money, try thinking in terms of if what will happen if everyone start to steal the money. Whatever may be the reason, you may want the money to buy the medicine for your beloved, and you don't have money, that's why you're stealing money. That doesn't matter. You just have to think in terms of your action. So you're stealing money. If everyone in the world start to steal money from each other, will the world be a better place? Will the world be a safe place? And answer to that question is obviously no. And hence your action does not fulfill this criteria of maximum of universality. And hence you can surely say that your action is not moral. But now let's think in terms of the question of moral dilemmas. So in our first video we started with the example of a doctor and patient case where there are 5 Nobel laureates admitted in his hospital critical care, and they are in dire need of organs, and the doctor gets a healthy patient, and that healthy patient is an orphan and he has no qualification to match those Nobel laureates. So in this case the doctor is in a moral dilemma of whether I can take out the organs from this healthy patient and implant them in this Nobel laureates to save those 5 Nobel laureates with the at the expense of this one orphan healthy patient. And this is the question of moral dilemma, right? And let's now apply Kant's universality maxim on this. So if doctor decides to take out the organs and implant them in these 5 Nobel laureates, now let's think in terms of universalizing this action. If all the doctors start to take out the organs like this and implant them in, the people they think are more important to society than others, then will the world be a better place? The answer is definitely no. And hence doctor can simply say that this action of taking out the organs from this healthy patient is not moral. Then the second principle that is given by Immanuel Kant to judge whether the action is moral or not is the maximum of humanity. So in this, Immanuel Kant argues that you have to treat every human being as end in himself or herself and not just means to your ends. So what does this mean? So if you went to a barber to cut your hair and you pay him, Does this imply that you are using barber to your end to get your good hairstyle and you are using barber's skill? So Kant says no, because now let's universalize this action. You are going to barber to get a good hairstyle. If everyone around the world starts to go to barber to get good hairstyle, will world be a good place, safe place? The answer is yes, because that's what people do. If you want to get good hairstyle, you can go to the barber. So there will not be any question of morality in this, because according to Immanuel Kant, this action comes under the hypothetical imperative. If you want to get good hairstyle, go to the barber. So you go to barber to get good hairstyle. But the question arises on whether or not you should pay the barber. And here, if you universalize this action of not paying the barber his due for the service that are rendered by him to, by cutting your hairs, then let's universalize this action and think in terms of universal impact of this action of not paying to barber for his services. So if everyone around the world started not to pay to people who have given their services, will the world be a better place? The answer to that question is no. And it implies that action of not paying to barber for his services is not a moral action. And this is how Immanuel Kant put forward his theory of categorical imperative, in which you have to follow these two principles, maxim of universality and maxim of humanity. But there are obvious questions that arise while interpreting the second principle of humanity, maxim of humanity, because on occasions we have to do things that involves using people as a means to get to our ends. So how can we decide if in one situation my action was moral or not, and in another situation my action was immoral or moral? So to simplify the things, Immanuel Kant gave the golden rule, and this is also called as golden principle of Kant. And in this principle, Kant argued that you should treat a person the way you want him to treat you. Now let's understand the Kant's categorical imperative through an interesting example. Suppose you are a shopkeeper and a child approached to you and he gives you a 500 rupee note and buys a chocolate from you, and then there is no one else with the child, and child is very young to understand all the money transactions and all. So you decide to dupe him and you just return him the 10 rupees, and in order to argue that he came with the 20 rupees note, and you gave him the chocolate of 10 rupees, and the remaining 10 rupee you have returned him, and you get to keep the remaining amount without doing anything. So this action is completely immoral. Now let's understand the second scenario, in which you give away the remaining amount, that is 490 rupees, but you give away this amount while thinking that if this child goes to his home and he tells that this shopkeeper has given you this 490 rupees, and then there will be your popularity will grow in the community, and then all people will believe in you, and you will get more and more customers, because they now know that you don't dupe anyone. So Kant says this is where the problem arises. It doesn't matter if your action is moral or immoral. What matters is your motive. So if you are acting in a moral way, but you are for immoral motives, with immoral motives, then the action is immoral. So Kant is saying that what matters is not the utility but your motives. And this is why this example becomes very interesting in the Kant's moral philosophy. Then the solution that given by the Kant for this scenario was the shopkeeper should return entire 490 rupees with the chocolate of 10 rupees just because it is correct thing to do, nothing else. Just because it is the thing that must be universalized, and if universalized, then it will not have any problems to the world. And this is how Kant located morality. Kant located morality in the motives of the action, and hence this school of moral reasoning differs from the remaining school of moral reasoning, where in utilitarian moral reasoning we saw that they located morality in utility of the action. Here, the Kant is locating morality in the motives, and this is how there is a significant difference between the categorical moral reasoning and utilitarian moral reasoning. Another example that was encountered to Kant was suppose if your friends come rushing to your door and he knocks door and you let him in and you ask him why he is running. So he tells that he is being chased by a murderer who wants to murder him, and you then hear another knock on your door and you go to door and open it and you see the murderer, and murderer says, have you seen this person? And I have seen him coming towards your home. So now what will you do? According to Kant's categorical imperative, one must always tell the truth. And in this situation, if I tell the truth, then it implies that I am telling the truth. My action of telling the truth is going to result in the loss of life of my friend. So what should be done? If we do not tell the truth, then if we try to universalize telling lie, then it will have net negative impact on the world. So this is the moral dilemma, and this was a very interesting question that was raised in front of Kant himself. And Kant himself answered to this question that even in this case you have to tell the truth. You can tell the partial truth that before 15 minutes you saw your friend running, because that is also true, and you are telling essentially what you are telling is the truth, and this way you get to save your friend's life as well as you get to tell the truth, and this is how the action is moral. But it is obvious that there are loopholes in his solution. So in the end of last video I argued that which school of moral reasoning is better. Is it a categorical or utilitarian? So from this example of your best friend coming to you to hide from murderer, and you have to tell the truth according to categorical imperative, this implies that no one moral reasoning is perfect for each and every situation. So you have to think in terms of having good positive result and then act accordingly. Although this categorical imperative is considered as a gold standard in the field of moral philosophy, but there are certainly few drawbacks, and these drawbacks can be addressed by using interchangeably the categorical imperative as well as utilitarian moral philosophy as given by J.S. Mill and Jeremy Bentham. So this was the categorical imperative given by Immanuel Kant, and I think this is it for today's video. If you like this video and if you understood the Kant's categorical imperative and his moral reasoning, if you are new to my channel, consider subscribing to my channel because I keep posting such videos. Thank you.